y'all.
Excuse me. Well, welcome everyone to the Spiritist Society of Virginia on this lovely sunny day. And I can't tell you how happy I am to be here with you all. It's hard to describe. Hello, Mrs. Of course, as most of you all know, we start off each meeting with a message from one of our books. And of course, this is one of my favorite books, Happy Life. From the Spirit Joanna de Angelis through the mediumship of Chico. No, excuse me, Baldo. I'm so used to saying Chico instead of saying the Baldo. And this is number 167. It's the Roman numerals, always getting. People's greatness can be measured by their capacity for service, humility, and love. Big people stand out and cast a shadow, whereas great people become indistinguishable points of light, showing the way to freedom. True heroes ignore themselves. They are more concerned with helping others rather than advertising their own deeds. Be like them in the silence of your accomplishments and the greatness of your smallness. That is somewhat of a challenge, but I think most of us know in Spiritism our calling is those small things in life. It's not the big things that you do. It's those little things that you do for your neighbor, your family, or any other person that you meet. Just as we say often, just an acknowledgement and a hello is all you need to do to bring a smile to somebody's face, to ask that retail person or just pronounce their name. Okay. So anyway, it's great to be here.
What number was the message he read again? Who listened to it? What number was it? 6-7. Oh no! Now we're ready to pray, huh? Now we can pray. Let us pray together, feeling the joy of life. Let us breathe in and out, feeling this healing air that God is providing to us. Dear Mother, Father God, we're so grateful that you have united us this morning to begin this new year at the Spiritist Society of Virginia together, learning together, supporting one another, visualizing your loving care amongst ourselves. We would like to pray for those who have their names in the book of prayer, and everyone in our lives. May this therapeutic moment be felt by everyone in forms of joy, hope, and courage. With your guidance, feeling your loving protection, we thank you for the permission granted so we can be here. And so be it. Okay, so as we begin, two things, okay? We're going to talk about announcements at the end, but we're going to go talk about one of them now. Yesterday, which was the 10th, we were supposed to do the Metro campaign like we did on Christmas, like the Christmas campaign, which was great, right? We were distributing the book Thought and Life. And now Dr. Stephen Post, the author of this book. Dr. Stephen Post is a renowned scientist and author. He wrote a book, many books, but one of them named Why Good Things Happen to Good People. He became so famous, he was in every show you could imagine in the US. And he became good friends with us at Kardec Radio, the Spiritism out of Virginia, since 2011. And every time he has good things happening, he writes, Vanessa, join me, let's join forces. And he says, interview me for this new book. Pure, Unlimited Love. Prefaced by the Dalai Lama, friends of his. These are kinds of friends he has, okay? So we're good that we're like one step away, like from these other people. But Dr. Post is an amazing heart. What a mind. He talks about the science and the 7 paths to inner peace. What a timely book for our nation. Funny enough, when I was talking to him at Kardec Radio, I talked about the Metro campaign that we did last year. And he said, if you want, I can send you the books. And he actually sponsored. He sent his books. They're here. And he said, if you want, you can do the same with these books. And we said, of course we have to do it. It's like Christmas and New Year. So we were supposed to do it yesterday, but it rained so much. So we postponed to the 24th, Saturday. It only takes maybe an hour and a half from 11 to 12:30 or 1 max. And it's so joyful. You're not going to talk to anybody, I assure you that. We're not going to say, oh, do you want a book? No. We spiritists don't do this, okay? It's one thing in our code is that we don't impose what we know. We have our centers open. We have everything, Kardec Radio, the Spiritist magazine. So if people want, they can go there at their will. But we can leave them gifts by the Metro. And that's what we do. It's already here. This is a gift for you. Feel free to take this book with you. And he has a little bowl to make it invitational. So they say like, oh, so I can pick it up. It's not like something crazy like you left a book like somebody else's book. So it's encouraging people to pick it up. If they want, we're not going to be there to say, pick it up. We're just going to leave it and go to the next station. And then inside, there is a message about the campaign, Kardec Radio, Dr. Stephen Post's website, etc. But we need friends because, believe it or not, the DC, Virginia, Maryland metro area has 100 stations. Believe it or not, 100. We have 100 books, 1 book per station. Lucky will be the people who see the book and pick it up. Because this book is not cheap, man. It's $28 basically. Okay? So imagine getting a book like this. So you are invited to join us. You can talk to Daisy. And some people have already volunteered. And they confirmed they will be with us on the 24th. But if you think you want to join us, you can join us. We have families here who brought their babies with the strollers, and they had fun together. Isn't that right? Right? At the end, the babies were sleeping. So the campaign really worked. Parents are like, hooray! They're sleeping. Yay! So Lucy also participated last year. And if you think that giving food to the homeless is more important than this, then we need to read all those books again. Okay? Because more important than food for the body is food for the soul. So if you usually volunteer for the homeless, the least we can do is volunteer for the thing. So we're going to encourage you to join us. Talk to Daisy at the end, all right? To join us. All we're going to do again, we're not going to talk to anybody. We're going to gather together. Everybody has their own line and stations to go. You just go there. There is a bench. You leave it on there and go back to the train to the next station. That's it. And it's so much fun because people witness when people go there and pick it up. It's like fishing. Like, oh, I got a fish. Yeah, Jesus said, go fish. But now you're going to fish the soul of people. And we have pictures. So we're still putting together the video of the Christmas campaign for you to see the actual outcome. It was beautiful, right? So many people picked up the books. They were actually reading. It was fascinating. So, meanwhile, we're here today, and there is no lesson for kids separated. We're going to be a family thing. What are we going to talk about today? Well, the good spirits, they always have wonderful plans, and they prepared for us. They said, let's talk about the greatest feeling. What is the greatest feeling? What do you think is the greatest feeling of life?
Happiness.
Happiness, peace, love, peace. Okay, so let's adventure together, okay? You know when Jesus talked about Mary and Martha? You remember that story?
Yeah.
So if you don't remember, talk more later. But let me introduce you to Martha. Look at her face. Is she feeling the greatest feeling? No. She's troubled. You know why? Because she's like, what is Mary, my sister, doing while I am cooking? I am doing everything, and she's there chatting with Jesus, the disciples. Who does she think she is? Martha was troubled because she was not happy doing what she had to do. She wanted others to do as she did. She thought she knew. She was better. That she was right. She had to cook and serve, and that's her duty. And how come her sister wasn't doing what she was doing? But what about us? The mini quiz, 5 questions for us to see how we're doing. Are we more like Mary, calmly listening to Jesus and paying attention to the things of, as John said, what really matters? Or are we in this to-do list? I have to do, to clean, to do the laundry, the projects, the money, and the bills. In our daily lives, when somebody corrects us, or we receive a feedback, when a teacher says, can you stop talking? How do you feel? Do you listen calmly and reflect? Do we listen but feel uncomfortable? Do we listen immediately and justify ourselves, or do we feel offended? Think about it. Choose. Okay. Question number 2. When we make a mistake, how do we feel? Do we acknowledge the mistake and try to repair it? Or do we admit with some difficulty? Or do we minimize it? Or do we blame circumstances on others, like some people we know? 3. When we help or serve others, do we feel grateful for the opportunity? Do we hope to be recognized? Do we feel disappointed if unnoticed? Do we expect appreciation? 4, when someone disagrees with us, do we feel, oh, I respect their point of view? Do we feel uneasy but listen? Do we feel the need to defend ourselves? Do we feel personally attacked? And finally, 5, when facing difficulties or trials, do we seek to learn and trust divine justice? Do we struggle but try to accept? Do we question why this happens to us? Or do we feel revolted or treated unfairly? And you may be asking, what does it have to do with Martha and Mary? Martha was much like us. She wanted to do things so she would be approved in the world. At her time, a woman, to be a good woman, she had to cook, to serve, and to be there pleasing others. And she wasn't happy doing this. She was doing just for the sake of convention. She wasn't doing that wholeheartedly. And when she saw her sister made a different choice, she felt personally triggered. Like, how come? I am doing all this and you're not. And not that her sister was sleeping, her sister was listening to the Messiah, which men were allowed to do. But then her sister felt like, I want to listen to him too. Well, how many of us feel that in all these questions, we were always choosing C and D? What is the root cause of it? What causes in us this difficulty in being corrected, calmly reflecting without feeling like offended? What causes in us a hard time realizing, acknowledging our mistakes? Because that's human. God allows us to make mistakes. If God didn't allow, we wouldn't make mistakes. But God says it's okay to make a mistake as long as you learn it. But then we blame on others. Yeah, I did this because he did that. I did this because she did that. What causes us to help others, not for the sake of being grateful for the opportunity, but expecting some form of recognition and appreciation? What causes in us this difficulty in dealing with differences? What actually is the root cause of feeling that life is not fair? The answer to this is pride. So today we're going to talk about the greatest feeling, humility. Nobody's going to be happy without humility. Is it possible to be at peace without humility? No. Is it possible to be joyful in life without humility? No. Because I always feel like I deserve more and life is not delivering. And that feeling of entitlement comes from pride. So let me define to you. Humility is actually the recognition of our spiritual condition, who we are. Who are we? Children of God, evolving. It's natural not to know, and then we get to know, and then we change, transform ourselves. very natural. But pride in us, says in the Spirit's book by Kardec, is the root cause of our moral suffering. It's the greatest obstacle to our progress. Humility is not weakness. Look at this flower, so fragile and yet so strong. Humbling itself in the middle of a very hostile environment for her. And yet, she doesn't stop growing, doesn't say, I'm not going to grow here. This is not the optimal garden for me. It grows where it is. It finds room for growth. Nature, very humble and humbling at the same time. In the past, in China, ancient China, Lao Tzu, through the Tao Te Ching, taught us that we should be like water. So flexible, fluid, but at the same time so strong. If you go to the beach, water. You go through the water of the sea. It seems so fragile, but it can kill us. What a paradox, huh? Just like us, our bodies are mostly water. If there is one thing that we need more than food is water. When we're hungry, drink water first. Because more than food, we need water. Air and water. Humility for us, in psychology, it is defined as when we have an accurate self-assessment. When I am not afraid of looking at myself and saying, I have this potential, the potentialities and the limitations. I am always open to feedback. And I recognize the value of others. Some people are so hard at recognizing others' value because they feel that they're going to be less if they think somebody is great. How many times you make a comment, oh my gosh, that person is amazing at drawing. Oh, but I am too. Oh, but I didn't say anything about you. I'm not comparing, I'm just saying that person is great. Oh, they are a great ballerina. Oh, but I am too. Why do I need to be constantly validated? Because I am not humbling myself to see my greatness, so much so that I can see others' greatness. Jesus said, you're light. But Messiah, aren't you the light? No, you too are the light. He was not afraid at encouraging us to our greatness. And if there's one thing Jesus did, was constantly encourage us. He was constantly saying, you can do more. You can do more. Come on. Keep coming. Studies show that people who are humble, they learn faster. Of course. Sometimes I see children. You're going to explain something today. They say, I know. I say, okay, oh, genius, please, can you wait a little bit? Hey, genius, please, wait. Let's just learn. I'll never forget this. I was at the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. I've told this story before, I'll repeat again. And this man, who is the current president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, his name is George, and good friend, he could be my father. His oldest son is my age. So we were there together in 2009. And the then president of the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, Mr. Massotti, was giving a talk about Spiritism. And there were many representatives of Spiritism from around the world all together. So I was next to George. We were listening, and I'm like, I already know it. I know what he's talking about. I read it, I studied it, but I'm looking at George, and he's like, so focused. I'm like, what is he looking that I'm not? He's seeing spirits. I know he's not a medium, so I am, but I am not seeing anything extra. I keep looking at him and looking at Nestor and looking at George and Nestor and George and Nestor. And then I see some people leaving. I'm like, maybe I should leave too. Because I already know this. He's just recapitulating the basics, the fundamentals. But then I ask, hey, George, let me ask you, don't you already know this? Yeah. Why are you paying so close attention to it? What am I missing? And he's like, I don't mind because I could be his daughter, so it's okay if I ask silly questions. And then he said to me, I'm trying to find what I don't know yet. There must be something that I have missed. And he was not kidding. That was his nature. That is his nature. He was not full of pride saying, I already know, okay, Mr. Talk to the walls because, we're going to stay outside chatting while you just recap for the discarnate spirits. But he was humble to think, what don't I know yet? So he was paying closer attention to it all. No wonder he became an authority in his field in the Air Force in Brazil. He became the top general of the armed forces in Brazil. His discipline, his dedication, his reliability, his commitment. Always learning. Building healthier relationships. How can I have good friends when I'm so full of myself? Right? Very hard. I never forget once I saw these two kids talking, and they were like, this kid said, oh, I did so well in math. And the friend said, really? And this is how a friend is reacting. Really? But that question, do you think you got it right? Yeah, I think I did. Oh, but we had two different replies to the question. And then, so that friend was saying that the one that thought was doing so well was not doing so well. So how can you be friends with somebody like this? How? Who is not validating, saying, great, I think I did too, or maybe not, but I'm great that you did. I hope you did. But in our families, the constant bickering. Oh, who cooks better? So annoying. Who cleans better? Who is faster? Who heals faster from a flu? Right? At COVID times, I'll never forget hearing people saying, I didn't catch it. And like, okay, wait, because you're human too. Many people being full of themselves because they didn't catch COVID. As if it makes you a better person. You see where we are? How are we going to have healthier relationships when couples are competing instead of collaborating. When brothers and sisters, instead of supporting each other, which is so beautiful, they are competing. They're wishing that the other one loses so they feel better themselves. How can you be happy when you feel that your brother or sister has to lose in order for you to feel good? When we're humble, we have lower levels of anxiety and defensiveness. Neuroscience also tells us that when we feel humble, it reduces the ego-driven threat responses in the brain that comes from a very tiny structure that we call amygdala, that is also responsible for modulating anger, fear. That structure is not going to be in the overdrive. It's going to be, in the baseline level. Like there's no need to feel threatened. When I'm humble, I don't feel threatened. Hey, I'm not mad at you. And then how do I reply? Boom, boom, boom. Where's my humility? How can I kill somebody? When I feel humble, I don't kill. I only kill when I feel entitled to somebody else's life. But it's in self-defense. Jesus didn't teach us to kill in self-defense. There's no excuse. There is no excuse. Somebody who was simply saying, hey, I'm not mad at you. And the response is, you lose your life. What is on the behind the scene of our national illness? Pride. We're not better than any other nation. We don't need to be better than any other nation to be a great nation. We'll be a better nation and a great nation when we are friends with all nations. Yes, we defend our nation without attacking our very citizens. This is a social statement. It's not political. Humility boosts our prefrontal cortex activity, boosting our reflection, our empathy, our self-regulation. When we are on the edge, anything people say, we're like, it shows that the leash that is in here, in our prefrontal cortex, is down. The dog is on the loose. We need the leash, and the leash will be boosted when we're humble. Why do they say this to me? Well, they can. If a cop comes and says, step out, I will obey. I'm not going to confront. I have to respect authority. I have to respect the authority of my teachers, my parents, of people who are in power positions, whether they are right or wrong. The Christ consciousness teaches us that we need to know our place. That's why we say in psychology that humility fosters collective intelligence. It makes us functional. Humility makes us functional because we're going to go to work. Oh, but I don't feel like going, but I will gladly because God is counting on me. I'm happy to serve. I'm happy to be useful. I'm happy to be able even to do my homework. Because there are kids, friends. If you go to a shelter, you see kids there. You're going to see kids there who will go to your school. And then they go back to a shelter and they have to do the same homework that you do, in spite of their circumstances. How can we complain to go back to our homes? Oh, I don't want to do homework. Yes, you do. Because your environment is safe and secure, and the minimum we can do is to fulfill our duty. Humility makes us functional. And that's why, before we wrap up, because it's our own breakdown, there are a few tips for us to practice humility daily. Listening without preparing a reply, a rebuttal. Some people, they don't listen. They don't want to know how people are doing. They barely listen. Like, oh, you don't know what happened to me. Admitting mistakes without self-punishment. That's humility too. In the book Thought and Life that we distributed in the metro stations, Emmanuel says in the chapter Humility that we will only conquer humility when we feel that God is the greatest. So if God is not punishing us, why are we punishing ourselves? Oh, I don't deserve to be happy. Okay, your name is God now. So now you're God sentencing yourself. If God is saying, new reincarnation, new beginning, new day, well, thank you, God. I'm going to accept the new everything, and this time I'm going to do it right. And if I make a mistake, I start anew every time, and there's no shame in not knowing. Accepting that others may be right. By the way, for us who are back to school, in our school system, it's so fascinating. They have retakes, right? At my time, there were no retakes. It was that. You could retake the year, right? You couldn't embellish your things, but you see the school system is improving and it's becoming kind of fair. Like, what if that day you were not well? You were sick, or you had a bad night. Kids don't sleep early anymore, by the way, right? And then, well, a second chance. And then you have a second opportunity. It's great, but we need to make use of it. Accept that others may be right, and that doesn't mean we're less. My grandma, when I was like a teenager, having 4 brothers, imagine. Sometimes I was upset. And then she would come saying, no, my darling, don't worry. These are little sticks of life. And I used to say, no, Grandma, I have to talk to Mom and Dad. I have to talk to them. It's not fair what they are doing, what they are saying. And she said, don't worry about it. Don't be triggered. They're just silly. And today I see Grandma was right. She's right. It's not worthwhile. People don't know what they're doing. They say stuff. We're triggered, but then we say, they don't even know what they're saying. Sometimes you go back to the person. You remember said that? Did I say this? Like, you don't remember you said that? They're mediums, huh? We speak things without noticing, right? So, sometimes people say they're right, sometimes they are not, and vice versa. Serving without expecting recognition, and that's the most important. When you go home, do you clean and say, did you see I clean? Everybody, stop. Acknowledge, please. Huh? Like me, I say, Virginia, when she's coming from school, like, Virginia, please, shoes. Mom has just cleaned everything up. Please keep everything in order, huh? Right? Oh, I want to cook something. No, please don't cook anything. Oh, please, let your dad come home first and see that everything is clean. So he can enjoy a little bit, right? Because Loopy, unfortunately, she can't help herself. You know, can she? Yes. She can. She should, Virginia. Understanding suffering as an education, not as punishment. When you have problems in life, God's not punishing us. He's just saying, I'm coaching you to be stronger. It's like resistance training. When you go to the gym and you're working out, that's not punishment. If you feel as punishment, one day you feel that the endorphins are actually the greatest reward. You're always happier when you leave the gym. Always, right? You work out and then you're like, oh man, I thank God I came. It felt like dragging, but now I feel so good. So it is rewarding to learn. And when we have setbacks, God is saying, try anew. Thomas Edison. He tried once, didn't work, did it? He tried twice, did it work? He tried 3 times, did it work on the 3rd time? Okay. So how many times Thomas Edison tried again and again and again and again?
10,000. And then he had a copy someone else.
It's like 600 plus, right? 600 something, right?
1700. Oh,
1700. Okay, thank you. Well, that's what he's saying. I know he tried a lot. Imagine if he had said, I'm stupid. How many people I hear say, oh, that's why it doesn't work because I'm stupid. No, don't say that. God made us intelligent beings. We have to find different ways. You try this way, didn't work. Try that way, didn't work. And God is saying, keep trying, because the more you try, the better it's going to be for you. And humanity now has light everywhere. Thanks to this effort and yes, effort and again, effort and so when the teacher says new exercise 4 pages, why? Because you have to repeat and make an effort. It has to be effortful to learn. Now let's go back to our model. Ben Franklin, our nation. Let's evoke the man. The founding father. Amazing. Who is a spiritist? He wrote many ways of improving our life, and one of them is humility. Imitate Jesus, and Socrates, the philosopher, was quite humble. So he recognized one thing that he didn't know much himself, he says in his autobiography. But he says, I know I have to learn. So he was humble enough to know he needed to learn humility. And it's one of the things that could improve his life. One thing that Martha didn't know. She thought she was full of herself, she was so righteous, and Mary was not so right. Let's see the dialogue between Jesus and Martha to really understand that it's not worth it any longer to be Martha. We're being called to be more like Mary. Okay. Hold on. Let me just check, right? Hold on. Yes. Sorry. Hey.
things you can help this sister has asked me to serve her. Didn't want to help yet. She hasn't done a thing to serve you. She's completely ignored everything I've been doing to make all of you comfortable. And it's clear that she's not going to notice how hard I'm working on her own. The only thing that could change it is if you tell her to help me. Sit down and whisper. Only half your followers have been served. We can discuss this later. Also, I know. It's not hard to hear this. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. You've done a wonderful thing. You deserve and knowing that your intention is well meaning. But only one thing is truly necessary. To hear this clearly, I do not rebuke Martha. So service are beautiful. Action is good. You're doing what you thought was expected of you. What you're doing is right. Better. Listen. Listen carefully to my words and devour the rice of meal more nourishing than actual food.
Hey, friends. So, Happy New Year with the greatest feeling. The feeling that everything is all right if we are with God. Let us receive the spiritual passes now. We're going to close our eyes and feel that we are in this conversation with the Christ. Breathing in and out. Visualizing ourselves seated next to Master Jesus. Breathing in and out, we feel his loving smile, his radiant look. He holds our hands and is transfusing his healing love. He's telling us, you are light. Look at your heart. Your light. Your joy of living. As we breathe in and out, he caresses our heads, applying the energy medicine that we need for the mind and the bodies. Breathing in and out. He walks with us to our homes. We open the door of our homes to Master Jesus. He enters our home. We welcome him. He places a vase of flowers, healing flowers. We breathe in and out the healing air. He blesses every room in our home, every person, every discarnate spirit, rescuing all and everyone who needs help. He now looks at us, holds the both of our hands together, and says that he's going to be with us forever, that he counts on us to be with him. With his right hand, he touches our heart, strengthening us, protecting us. He blesses the water we're going to drink, the living water of his love. And we visualize our great nation, the generous United States of America, in its beautiful foundation, the brain of the world, being cared for by the Christ, building bridges of friendship amongst nations, coordinating progress on earth. And our planet illuminated, radiating its light to the universe. Thank you, Master Jesus, for your kind invitation to learn, to love, and to serve. May this be the day in which we feel at ease in your presence daily. With your permission, we close the service in your name and love, and so be it. While Mr. Narciso is preparing, we're going to watch again.
Seems you didn't notice my sister has left me to serve alone. From the moment you got here, she hasn't done anything to serve you. She's completely ignored everything I've been doing to make all of you comfortable. And it's clear that she's not going to notice how hard I'm working on her own. The only thing that could change it is if you turn out to help me. Your followers have been served. We can discuss this later. I'm sorry.
I know. Is there any others to hear this? There's nothing to be embarrassed about. You've done a wonderful thing. It's better.
You'll be serving us. And we'll
Your intention is winning. And one thing is truly necessary. It's not to serve me. I hear this clearly. I do not rebuke Martha. So service, a beautiful action, is good. You do what your father says to do. What you're doing is right. I think something that is better. To sit at my feet, listen carefully to my words, and devour them as a meal, nourishing the truth.
Dear friends, before you go, just some reminders for all of you. As we spoke at the beginning, we're looking for volunteers to join our New Year Metro campaign on the 24th. So please come talk to us at the end if you're interested, if you and your family wants to join us. We also want to remind you that on Fridays, we have resumed our Andrea Luiz Books Challenge. So as a reminder, or if it's the first time you're hearing about this, the mentors of the Spirit Society of Virginia have invited all of us for this beautiful plan because as we just heard, the nourishment for the soul is the most important, and they want to motivate us to read. And Andrea Louis' series, it's so deep. We started with our Solar in November, and throughout the year, we're going to be covering one book a month. The whole series, we started this month with the book The Messengers. As you can see, each week we study a series of chapters on Fridays, and we're going to be doing this throughout the year. Such an invitation. And if you're part of this challenge, if you want to be part, there are prizes, as you can see, from doing summaries from one book all the way to the 13 books. That would be wonderful prizes. So join us, even if you can come just one Friday. Come. Maybe the one Friday, it's exactly what we need for that moment. If you want to come for all the Fridays, we will be here. We really look forward to seeing you. It's a beautiful opportunity. And then if you are in Washington, D.C. area, or if you have friends that live close to Washington, D.C. area, we want to remind you, once a month we are in Washington, D.C. for a monthly workshop. We'll be there this coming Saturday. So come join us, spread the word. It's in a beautiful place right in downtown D.C. It's metro accessible. There's parking available on the street. So we look forward to seeing you there or your friends. But we're here, friends. If you need to talk to us, if you have any questions, we're in no rush to leave. We offer the fraternal counseling. If you want to talk to our team, we are available. Okay, we hope you have a beautiful Sunday, a beautiful week, and a beautiful and happy New Year. Thank you.